Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode with me, Salima, Nourishing Life with Salima. So, welcome. This week, your invitation awaits you to nourish your oral hygiene, affectionately named Nourish U Teeth, Mouth, Eyes, and Menopause. In this podcast and post, we'll learn about the connection between periodontal health, hormones, menopause, and HRT, warning signs such as dry and burning mouth, bleeding gums, gum disease, and what you should do, tips to get your mouth back on track during menopause, perimenopause, and beyond. There'll be some resources and references. So, in other words, documented research into the link between menopause, hormones, and oral health, and access to vision insights in menopause. So, welcome. For me, writing my SubStack has always been about creating inspirations and drawing on insights from my own experiences and research in life, providing a springboard for information, connection, and discussion, ultimately to nourish you so that you can nourish life. So this week, I'm focusing and highlighting on the connection between teeth, mouth, eyes, and menopause and hormones, drawn from my own personal experience and research over the last few months. So 2025 has not quite started out the way I had imagined. However, that being said, what I've learned about myself, my body, mind, and mouth has been both invaluable and painful at the same time, but in a good way. I've always tried to be healthy, exercising regularly. I've been teaching. I was teaching yoga for over 2 decades, eating a healthy diet, and reducing my intake of alcohol. Just to be full transparency here, still a work in progress. Don't get me wrong, I don't binge drink, but I do love to cook, and I love to cook with a glass of wine or half a glass of wine and then finish off the other half with my food. That is something that I love to do. So, yes. However, when we're in the menopause cycle events, we often have to rethink not only our behaviours and habits, but also the type of exercise we do, the duration, as well as diet and nutrition and our overall health. So, if that is the case, then why don't we take more notice of our teeth during this transition? My experience researching these questions has led to some very profound answers. Mouth, teeth, menopause, and other factors, setting the stage. My journey with my mouth in menopause started back in late November 2024. After having a few problems with one tooth in particular, I suppose I had been pretty lucky up to that point and taken my teeth and my gums for granted, as I had experienced very few problems. Partly because my mama always looked after my teeth with appointments and so forth from an early age. As far as I can remember, I only had one set of treatments over 3 decades ago, and that was to deep clean my gums at my local dental hospital. Since then, I've had no fillings, although I could have done better with some more trips to the hygienist, I admit. Moving out of London and into a different area just before COVID, however, I was stuck. There were no NHS dentists available. And obviously we had COVID, which impacted the situation and made it worse. And I'm not sure where you are listening to this podcast or whereabouts in the world, but it has become a very sorry state of affairs in the UK, where access to dentists is very restricted unless you have the money to pay privately. However, that aside, I was able to see a hygienist coming out of lockdown. Unfortunately, by that time, it had been almost 5 years since my last clean, and that coupled with starting perimenopause during the beginning of COVID, well, let's just say it didn't help. Back to November then, and after finally finding a dentist, I was informed after a very thorough examination, my mouth was cancer free, which was good, but I needed a root canal and some treatment for my gums. Yikes. And did I mention that all of this happened a few days before my flight to Costa Rica? So I was advised against having the root canal or the other option, an extraction, until I returned. Meantime, the lovely dentist gave me 2 courses of antibiotics, including a spare box to take with me to clear the infection, which has since spread, and in case it repeated itself again while I was away. However, upon my return, I was in so much pain. This time, the same side as the infected bottom tooth, so I still had pain from that, but this time in my upper jaw on the same side. Again, my lovely dentist, so lucky I found him, said, you have an infection in a small pocketing area, and I don't like the look of that. We need to attend to this issue as soon as possible, and you need to get to the hygienist as well. By this time, to be honest, I was almost in tears, frightened that finally my mouth and my teeth were giving up on me. Or perhaps they were instead trying to signal me to take prompt action for my general overall health. Finally, we decided we could not save my tooth as the infection had penetrated deeper than we first thought, so an extraction was recommended and successfully achieved. Now on a treatment plan with the dental therapist for some major works with my gums so I can save my bones. But at least I'm on the way to restoring balance in my mouth and jaw. So, warning signs to visit the dentist, periodontal health and HRT. A bit in denial, I thought, I'll be okay. My teeth have always been okay. But I wasn't really being truthful to myself. Why? Well, because I noticed that I had been waking up with an awful dry mouth and seemed to have this burning sensation in my mouth also that had basically just come out of nowhere over the last 3 months. However, there was just something different about how my mouth was feeling in general. I can't explain it, but women are quite intuitive, and I just knew that something wasn't right. On closer inspection, I began to see my gums were beginning to recede and bleed, something that I never had before. Dental anxiety began to creep in and then slowly overtake my thoughts, giving me mini panic attacks and a real fear for the dentist of something that I've never experienced before. So, what was happening? Was there a connection, or is there a connection between menopause and oral symptoms? Moreover, have you ever considered that the buildup of harmful bacteria can also contribute to vulnerability for heart and neurological conditions such as strokes and heart disease? Well, it can. In a review of oral health and menopause data, the most common oral health symptom was periodontal health, with up to 60% of women experiencing symptoms. Periodontal health, just to be clear, refers to that of the gums and connective tissues, which can experience significant change due to hormone fluctuations during the menopause. If your mouth is dry, you may even notice some clicking of your jaw or difficulty in speaking, and food may not taste the same. Dryness can also affect your swallowing reflex, something that I've also experienced. And overall, basically, your mouth and your teeth can feel much more sensitive, and your gums may bleed when brushing, or like with me, they just start bleeding out of the blue. Chronic gum problems can lead to, more importantly, this is really something that I think needs to be highlighted, is, especially when we're in menopause, that chronic gum problems can lead to destruction of the bone supporting your teeth, known as periodontitis. Gum disease, we know, is a leading cause of tooth loss. But did you know that studies have suggested more than 1 in 4, that's 28% of postmenopausal women, are likely to suffer from tooth loss within 5 years. Dr. Jen Gunter, this is for you because I saw your post the other day on research into oral health and menopause. And that's a quote by dentist Dr. Shabnam Zai. I put the link to her work in this post. The problems that I personally experienced then is what finally led me to start taking HRT. I was desperate. I tried all the expensive herbal supplements, and while in the early stages of perimenopause, it helped, they did not replace my estrogen or my progesterone. However, even within 48 hours of taking this bioidentical, the gold standard of HRT, something miraculous happened. I woke up on the third morning with more saliva in my mouth, no more dry and burning mouth, reduced pain. Well, basically, the pain was gone. And after researching deeper, I found that it is, like I said, the lack of estrogen and progesterone that can impact and reduce the production of saliva, which can obviously cause other nasty problems in the mouth. You can access the full article here on oral health and the menopause on Dr. Louise Newson's website and app Balance. If you saw my post last week, there is a link on there as well about some of the work that she's doing around different aspects of the menopause. What's interesting here is there does appear to be a link via one study that taking the good HRT, body identical, actually lowers and reduces your risk of periodontal disease. However, you still have to have good oral hygiene, as my dental therapist told me. I've put some references in of scientific research that's been scientific research and study that's been done on our current knowledge and associated dental treatment for oral health and menopause. So please take a look. We need to, I really advocate for more research to be done on this, because women may not be understanding what is going on with their mouth. And I'm not a dentist, but I've experienced a lot of key issues with my mouth, and hence that's why I wanted to put this post out there to raise awareness. If you suddenly feel that you don't understand what's going on with your mouth. Other key facts to consider is if you floss just once a week, and the recommendation, of course, is do it every day, you have a significant lower risk of stroke and developing atrial fibrillation. Researchers now believe that reducing oral bacteria and gum inflammation may play a role in protecting your brain and heart health. So, I was shocked when I finally got to my dental therapist hygienist when he told me that I was just not cleaning my teeth correctly. How is that? He then proceeded to show me really in depth and detail when to clean and how this like brown brown slime then turns into plaque, and that's when the problems start. So these are a few key takeaways from my last 3 months on this journey, from being with the dental therapist and my dentist and my doctor. Speak to your doctor if you are either not on HRT or perhaps on a lower dosage and having any of the symptoms. Just basically talk to your doctor about it. Make more of an effort to have regular screening with a dentist every 6 months if you're experiencing any of the menopausal symptoms I've listed in this post, where possible. In addition, seek a professional that has experience in dental therapy as well as dental hygiene. Why? This is so important because they specifically train in dental bone anatomy, and the diagnosis is super important. That's one of the biggest takeaways. Review your teeth cleaning with your dental hygienist to make sure you're doing it right. Check when you last changed your tooth head, if electric, and the shape. I was told I was using the completely wrong shape and size for my mouth, surprisingly. So I received my new electric toothbrush, my oral iOS 6, today. Start dry brushing as well as using electric flossers or just normal flossing. And my favourite, the TP bristle flossers. The dry brush is a long brush with the small head, and you just wiggle it around as my dental hygienist said, wiggle it around on the gum to the tooth and get all this little brown slime off each tooth. Never did that before, and I've started doing that obviously the last 2 weeks actually. Oil pulling. Sesame seed oil, coconut and peppermint. Although some dentists may not agree with oil pulling, the ones that I've spoken to, and there's been quite a few over the last 3 months, generally do recommend using it because of the anti-inflammatory and bacteria benefits. If you don't know what it is, basically you swish 10 milliliters or a tablespoon of oil around your mouth for 10 to 20 minutes. Then spit it out into a bin, not in the sink, as otherwise it will clog up your pipes. I generally do 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's my limit. Do not ingest it. The idea purely is this, that the bacteria, which is like a light brown slime that then turns into plaque and can cause tooth decay and gum disease and a whole other load of dental nasties, is then removed naturally. It's rooted obviously from the Ayurvedic tradition, and in general the results are positive, and it can actually make a significant difference over a short amount of time. Obviously, during the menopause cycle, we're fighting inflammation in our body as well. And, oh, did I mention it also whitens your teeth naturally? Vision and menopause. I've now written a few pieces that have introduced considerations for vision health, especially in perimenopause and menopause. You can check them out below. If you're listening to this, head over to the Substack written post. You might also want to check out my free mini ebook, Blending Vision Science and Holistic Practices for Healthy Eyes, below. Learn about the meridians and acupuncture points, as well as diet and nutrition for the organs related to vision. So, if you are suffering with your jaw, your mouth, your teeth, you know someone else that's having similar problems, let's get this information out there. Let's highlight that there needs to be more research for women's oral health during perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. It's no good having veneers if you've got receding gums and you've got tooth decay and you've got periodontitis. Attack the root cause first, stabilize that, and then go from there. That is my plan. Eventually, I will get veneers, hopefully. But for the next year, 6 months to a year, I need to make sure my mouth is completely healthy and stable. So, I'm really interested to start a discussion on this, and I'm really interested to hear your comments. So please feel free to comment on this post. Please do share it with someone else that may be suffering. Thank you, as always, for being here, reading, listening, and sharing my work. And I really hope that this has been helpful. I've been wanting to write it for a while, and I'm glad that now it's out there. Nourishing Life then is a combination, or it's a contemplative podcast exploring the curiosities and complexities of life, as well as providing helpful insights, I hope, from science, nature, health, Zen, and various philosophies to help you heal and inspire longevity. This is what we're aiming for. If you would like to show your appreciation and continue to support my work, then please consider buying me a coffee on Ko-fi. The link is on the written post. And yeah, let me know how you go with your mouth. And if you have, if you have any questions, basically. So until next time, nourish you, nourish life. Bye for now.